stability. Yes.
Yes, Ambassador Suresh Goel, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. We bring you some breaking news now coming from the Indian subcontinent, and an earthquake of magnitude 6 has struck northwestern Kashmir in India, according to the European Mediterranean Seismological Centre. The tremor, which occurred at a depth of 35 kilometres, has raised concerns in the region. Authorities are monitoring the situation closely, but no immediate reports of significant damage or casualties have been confirmed so far. Of course, we'll bring you any updates coming out of that region as soon as we get them. But now over to East Asia, and China's population has declined for the fourth straight year as the country records its lowest birth rate on record. According to officials, China's population fell again in 2025, continuing a trend that began in 2022. The number of births fell sharply to about 8 million in 2025, while deaths rose to nearly 11 million. Experts say the long-term impact of China's former one-child policy continues to shape the demographic crisis. The policy, implemented nationwide to control rapid population growth, limited most families to having just one child. China is now aging rapidly, creating major challenges for Beijing's plans to boost domestic consumption. Officials say nearly 23% of China's population is now over the age of 60. By 2035, that number is expected to reach 400 million, meaning hundreds of millions of people could exit the workforce while pension systems are already under pressure. To address the issue, China has begun raising retirement ages. Men are now expected to work until 63, while women are expected to retire at 58. Let's listen in.
年末，全国人口，这是包括31个省、自治区、直辖市和现役军人的人口，不包括居住在31个省、自治区、直辖市的港澳台居民和外籍人员，这是14亿零489万人，比上年末减少339万人。全年出生人口792万人，人口出生率为5.63%，死亡人口1131万人，人口死亡率为8.04%，人口自然增长率为-2.41%。
Joining us now is Andrew K.P. Liang. He is a China strategist and he joins us live from Hong Kong. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. This is a huge issue in China. Of all the economic development occurring in the country, this remains an underlying serious problem. Of course, the one-child policy, which was abolished in recent years, has damaged China for the future. And we've seen 8 million births this year with 11 million deaths, 3 million people losing from the population in a single year. What more can you tell us about this, the situation in the country and what the government is doing to tackle it? What can it do to tackle it long term?
Well, as you pointed out, the demographic challenge has become a huge hurdle for China's rapid development. The one-child policy was first introduced when China was extremely poor, when under Chairman Mao at that time. Because there are a lot of mouths to feed, and China's food production was simply not enough. And for China to grow faster, the China's Communist Party introduced the one-child policy, which was strictly enforced. And that led to arrested the growth of China's population, enabling resources diverted to the cities to grow China's economy. Then after all these years, China's economy has now become the second largest in the world. But then along with that, there is with the rising of the China's lower middle class, and people are pivoting towards quality rather than larger families, and also because of the lack of social provision in China, relatively speaking, not enough provision for old age, not enough provision for medical care. So people are saving up for the rainy day, and also avoiding the burden, the financial burden of large families, and of course, then because of the competition for better jobs in the future, they're all concentrating on one child. In the hope of sending the child to the best university and so on. And of course, that led to a lowering of not only birth rates, but marriages. And nowadays, a lot of young people don't
Yes.
want to get married.
Uh,
So
Andrew,
it's a huge problem. Yeah, and then but at the time at this time you don't need to have a large family, a large population to become the largest economy in the world. Look at the United States, which is only one quarter of China's population. So the emphasis is on productivity, and there China is now progressing quite rapidly in terms of automation, in terms of robotics, and of course leading technologies like AI. And China has the reservoir of the so-called STEM PhDs, STEM, science, technology, and engineering, mathematics cohort, the largest in the world, about twice, nearly twice as many STEM PhDs produced every year, twice as many compared with the United States. So China has a huge reservoir of technology-oriented kind of workforce, and by concentrating on robotics, which of course reduce the need for labor. And then if you go to some of the better hotels in China, there are even staff-less hotels with no staff at all. Everything's automated, from registration to check-in to carrying of luggage by robots. And some of the restaurants have a staffless restaurants and supermarkets, let alone factories. So I think that the emphasis of the country in the future is on automation, robotics, technology, and raising the quality of life as well as the productivity. And look at the latest figures coming out from China. China just
okay,
managed
Andrew,
to hit
apologies, we're running out
5%
of time.
economic.
I just want to talk about the culture here. Of course, a huge factor of this declining birth rate. China, of course, now allows 3 kids, but nobody wants them. The culture is settled here from now generations of this one-child policy, which has now, of course, been abolished. A brutal work culture exists in China, sky-high housing costs, education expenses, as you have spoken about, social pressure, women rejecting traditional roles in Chinese society. What remains the biggest hurdle here?
Well, the biggest hurdle still remains the social provision. But even though there are a lot of white-collar workers, there is a lack of suitable jobs for the university graduates, even though China is graduating, multiple times the number of university graduates. But then nowadays, the energy is pivoting towards AI and automation, and also finance. A large number of young people cannot find suitable jobs, and that worsen the desire to get married, to have to face the burden of raising children. So this worsens the kind of democratic challenge. But of course, the party, the leadership is rising up to it. It's also opening up the economies more to provide more suitable jobs. And also, according to the latest 5-year plan, more resources are devoted towards improving the sort of social security net, to ease the concerns of the upcoming workforce.
Andrew KP Leung, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.